Well, it's Robert Burns, Sound Off, Louisiana. And as I think all of you know, I rarely do this. It's probably about the third time. But I did feel compelled to do it this time because, as everyone is aware, in the last meeting, we came in for a brief period of clarification with regard to, the executive session was broken up to come in for a clarification. I firmly believe that the minutes ought to reflect, and had I known what that clarification would have been, I certainly would have gotten my camera rolling to have recorded it. Obviously I don't. But we're talking about 3 prospective recording devices having been left in this meeting during an open session. All 3 that were acknowledged are either present or past officers holders of the Louisiana State Troopers Association. We're not talking about rookies. We're not talking about people who just dropped in here. We're talking about veteran attendees of these meetings. And I believe it would only be responsible, and I understand there was a 4th person that also left the recording device in. Since that one was not called out publicly, I'm going to go on what I've been told. But if so, I think that should be also reflected in the minutes. My thought is, as much as you drill that home, Mr. Chairman, and you do a good job. It's inexcusable. And my personal opinion is, it was not an accident. I know the inquiry was made as to whether the potential recording devices were activated, and all 3 individuals said they were not. I really hope we can take them at their word. We hope a lot of things with LSP that we can take things at their word. So a lot of times it's turned out not to be the case. So that's my only public comment, is I believe that the minutes do not reflect that. In my opinion, there should be a request to amend the minutes to so note that episode. Because as far as I'm concerned, it was part of the official meeting. I realized that we were called back in. There was no formal calling the meeting back to order, but I think it was an extremely significant point of the last meeting and potentially could affect the hearings or the matters that are before you today. Because I think everyone knows what was being discussed in this room when that executive session was taking place. And I know that if I had done something like that, I would be expected to be read the right act and quite frankly thrown out. And I think you would have been justified in doing so. So with that, I'm done, Mr. Chairman, and I would make the suggestion that the minutes, if they don't already contain that, be amended to reflect what transpired in the break during the executive session. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak before you.
Thanks for your comments, Mr. To the business items, which first item of business is consideration of the minutes. Do we have any motions to amend the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I think that occurred while we were in executive session, if I'm not correct.
It did. We did not break executive session. We did call people in to get them to remove their devices and identify who they were. But it was technically, I guess, during executive session.
So my thought is that really by having this brought to our attention today, that this occurred, that probably should be reflected in today's minutes as a notation that what did happen. I know what happened there, and I was distressed about that, but the minutes themselves, I think, should stand as they are, and I would so move.
So we have a motion to adopt the minutes as written with the understanding that today's minutes would reflect the issues that were discussed in the open public session of the meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do we have a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Burns.
You're quite welcome.